Hello, this is Cheryl Willis over at Go Arizona Real Estate, coming at you with the January 2023 real estate market update for the Phoenix metro area. Boy, that was a tongue twister. We are starting off the year with a bang, and I have to tell you, I think this year is going to be exciting for anyone and everyone, whether they're buying or selling. So let's break it down and let me tell you why. First of all, we're starting the year on an overall balanced market, meaning the amount of buyers we have in the market today is matching right where the inventory is. Now, despite the fact that we have seen an influx of inventory, if you go to about a year ago right now, it was only about 5,000 homes on the inventory. And when we had that dump in the late springtime from all the builders and Open Door, OfferPad, all the investors, we got that number up to 20,000, but 20,000 still isn't 100% of the inventory that we should have based on our population and the amount of people that are moving here to the greater Phoenix area. Well, the fact that we have sold quite a bit of that 20,000, and some of those have come off the market because a lot of those were sellers that were like, oh, I better hurry up and test the market, see if I can get this crazy price. And you know what? The answer was no. So they are staying in their homes. Look, we currently only have about 15,000 homes on the market when we really should have closer to 25 to even 27. We are at the very beginning, the peak buyer season. I'm not saying buyer's market, buyer season. Let me tell you, over the last couple of weeks, we have been receiving dozens of calls every single week with buyers coming into town. They were waiting for this moment and now they're ready to buy. Well, here's the problem in the majority of the areas. There's not plentiful inventory. When we look at the entire greater Phoenix area, again, the balanced market, we are right at balance, but that doesn't mean everywhere is balanced. If we look at Chandler, Chandler has a very low buyer demand right now, which is really interesting. And when it's coupled though with only 40% of the inventory that's needed, that makes it a very big seller's market. Also, when you go to the new construction areas, more specifically like Santan Valley, Maricopa, Buckeye, we are seeing an overload of builder inventory. So it is hurting resale values in those areas. So when you see the media report that the greater Phoenix area has already seen a 7% decline, that does mean an overall median, but that doesn't mean all throughout the greater Phoenix area. For homeowners, rest assured, if you have bought your home in a highly desired area, you will continue to see market appreciation, although moderate, over the next many years. If you are a buyer, this means that you can now get into an area that you couldn't otherwise have competed with a year ago. Here is a great list that shows you exactly what each city is currently at. Fountain Hills, Paradise Valley, Cave Creek, Scottsdale, again, have been sellers markets through this whole thing. Chandler just went from a balanced market to a seller's market. Like I said, it's not from a change in demand, it's from a reduction in inventory. That makes a huge difference. So we are still having inventory problems. And to be honest with you, when you look at this balanced market, which is going to be the core part of the greater Phoenix area, these are other desirable cities in the greater Phoenix area that have employment, infrastructure, great schools. For whatever reason, the proximity, it's great demand, but we also have a moderate inventory, not an excessive inventory, but a moderate inventory. So areas such as Phoenix, Glendale, Tempe, Mesa, etc., those are all balanced markets. Now, part of what's changing that is many of these areas had new construction, but they had a smaller amount of new construction. And as the builders have done their drastic reductions and huge incentives for buyers to buy, the last 2 months in new construction homes have been gangbusters. The builders are selling out their inventory. I was speaking with a sales rep at one of the sales offices recently, and he was telling me that he's been with the company for 40 something years, so that he has kind of the insight, and he was sharing with us that around the last July timeframe, when they saw the interest rates go up, the builders, which by the way, whom are very, very cash heavy, they have plenty of money in their books. It's not like 2008, I promise you. They strategically said, look, we don't want to get stuck holding the hot potato. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the rest of the inventory on the market. We're not going to hold it like we were doing it before. We're also going to start working with realtors. That was interesting. But also what they're going to do, or what they did do, is they are going to start doing more specs so that people can come in, buy a home, and get that home within 2 to 3 months instead of the 12 to even 18 months some of the builders were quoting. So what they wanted to do, again, is to get these homes sold before the resale market also started providing inventory. But honestly, the resale market hasn't really pushed out a whole lot of new inventory. So as these new construction homes are being acquired, we're seeing that inventory go down. Might not be a good thing, especially when we know that builders are now requesting fewer new build permits. What's going to happen later this year, especially when interest rates continue to go down, maybe as low as in the high 4s? When we start to see more buyers and we already have a low inventory of homes, are we going to see craziness like we saw? I hope not. One of the great things that this market permits is buyers that aren't cash heavy or cash buyers actually get into the market. So another reason why buyers should really consider getting their ducks in a row now, whenever it's right for you. I just think we're going to see some of that return this fiscal year. When you go back pre-COVID and you look at how many cash buyers there were, how many conventional buyers, and how many government loans, that would be VA and FHA, were in the market, we were at about 20 to 27%. And then when we started to get through the post-pandemic, it was very cash heavy and very conventional. And I'll tell you, FHA and VA buyers were pretty much blacklisted. It was not that nobody wanted to deal with those buyers, it's that there were stronger buyers on the table. Every home was receiving 20, 30, 50 offers. It was insane. So the people that really needed those government loans, and that's what they're there for, because the government wants home ownership, they were unable to exercise their rights to use those loans. So although you were qualified for a mortgage, you weren't qualified to buy in the market. Well, today's market, it is back up to 20% of the loans that are being used out there right now are the government loans. It's a fantastic market for the not so perfect buyer. If you don't have 20% down, if you need money for closing costs, if you need help buying down your rates, right now is a fantastic time. And when I say right now, I don't mean right this second, but over the next 6 months, I would strongly encourage you reach out to us. We'll help you get pre-qualified and put a solid plan in place. When you look at also pre-pandemic owner-occupied and second home versus investors and iBuyers, we saw a tremendous amount of investors in our market. And I'll be honest with you, they screw it up every time and they did it again. We are now back to where we were pre-pandemic. Our market is finally settled down to where it should be. And this was all done by one thing: higher interest rates. The higher interest rates moved a lot of buyers to the side, but those buyers are still wanting to buy or needing to buy a home. They're in temporary housing. They're in rentals, which, by the way, too, I do anticipate a larger inventory of homes coming on the market shortly after Super Bowl. Not quite sure how much after Super Bowl, because after Super Bowl, we still do have spring training and some amazing weather in the March and April timeframe. But as vacationers don't come here in the high, I mean, they do come here in the summer, but as fewer people come here over the summer, and also the snowbirds. As we start to see us getting into that summer season, I anticipate we will start to see some of the short-term rentals turn into long-term rentals, and some long-term rentals along with those short-term rentals turn into homes that will be for sale, which is kind of nice. I'm looking forward to that. One of the things I offer my viewers is to set up a Zoom call with me and the team, and we go over any questions you might have. And there's been a question that has come up quite often that I am going to address right here for you, and that is, we did have one major disruptor. I'm not saying only one, but the top one was Opendoor. And Opendoor, I'll be honest with you, in late 2021 and early 2022, they were paying over market value to homeowners that were willing to sell. Usually there is a cost for this convenience. Cash deal, no repairs, no showings, we'll come and buy your home as is. And if your home was worth $500,000, they would give you $450. The long and the short of it. Well, let me tell you, there was a time frame when Opendoor, if your home was worth $500,000, they would have paid you $515,000. I sold one to them for literally $514,000. That same home is still on the market. All they did was put in some fresh paint, clean things up, trim back the trees. They put it back on the market. They tried to recoup their cost, and it's just come down, 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 down. And now it is listed for about $460,000, and they still haven't sold it. They overpaid for thousands of homes across America, and Phoenix was one of their major markets. If you look at all these dots here, this is all of their properties that they have lost money at. Now, is this bringing down the values? Not a whole lot, because they were also the ones that were bumping up the prices and values for a very short window. If you think about it, the beginning of 2022, think of a coffee cup, I don't know, a cup, and froth coming over the top. That froth was scary, let me tell you. Well, for the new year, that froth is no longer there. And so that a little bit of appreciation that we saw for the first half of 2022 is what has been erased. If you look at the appreciation over the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you still have made a ton of money. So only people that bought a home within the last year has seen a little bit of a market correction, but I hope you didn't buy a home thinking that you were going to be able to sell it in a 1-year time frame. Anyways, we always recommend, if you are going to buy a home, to be in your home a minimum of 3 years. Right now we're saying about 3 to 5. 3 should at least be a moderate 2 to 3% appreciation per year moving forward. But as you can see, looking back, look at the appreciation that every homeowner has experienced in the greater Phoenix area. And if you have been watching all the doom and gloom, all the clickbait, all the scary thumbnails, like, let me tell you, we are not in for a market crash. In fact, when you look at the homes that are going to be going into pre-foreclosure, which is normal, you have death, divorce, people moving, there's different life events that may cause you even job loss, and we don't have a lot of that in the Phoenix area. There are reasons that people, for whatever reason, fall behind on their mortgage. But here in Arizona, one of the processes is you have to be 90 days late before you receive a notice of foreclosure. And then there's another 90 days to cure that. And it's a total of 6 months from when somebody doesn't pay their mortgage. Well, because everybody here in the greater Phoenix area, if they've owned their home over a year, has a very nice set of equity in there, they rarely make it to the courthouse steps. When you look at what the pre-foreclosures were back in the market crash compared to where we are today, we're not even close. So don't be listening to the doom and gloom. I'm telling you, this market is fantastic for buyers. Sellers, you still have a great market. You have a ton of appreciation. You just got to put a little elbow grease into it. So if you are thinking about buying or selling in the greater Phoenix area and you want to have a one-on-one conversation, please pick up that phone, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back when moving in and around and out and about in the Phoenix area. And I'm a nerd and I love talking numbers, and I'll share with you any charts you'd like. All right, guys, I can't wait to see you till next month. Super Bowl will have been passed by then. I think there's going to be Some serious market updates, so don't miss next month, and I can't wait to see you soon.